The year was 2139, and humanity had long since reached the stars. The intergalactic accord between the Earth Federation and the Xerian Collective was fresh, volatile, and in dire need of stability. Tensions were high after a century of mistrust, with both civilizations tiptoeing around each other like dance partners afraid of stepping on toes. To ease the friction, the Joint Cultural Immersion Program was formed, a risky diplomatic experiment. It involved pairing one human and one Xerian to live together in isolation for 90 days. Enter Lieutenant Jalen Miles. 27, Earthborn, no family, no attachments. An ideal candidate. He didn't expect to be assigned to her. Her name was Ira, a high-born Xerian diplomat in training. Nearly 6 feet tall, with opalescent silver-blue skin that shimmered under any light and eyes that glowed faintly violet. Her features were humanoid but undeniably alien, sharp, graceful, almost feline. She spoke Terran Standard with a cool, clipped accent and had a gaze that made even senior officers uncomfortable. When they first met at Outpost K9, a dusty observation base on the edge of the Andari Belt, the tension was instant. Not romantic tension, just tension. Ira made it very clear she did not want to be paired with a primitive biped full of water and bad decisions. Jalen, equally unimpressed, called her Ice Queen under his breath. The outpost was minimalist. One small kitchen, one shared terminal, a hygiene pod, and one bedroom. With one bed. A bed clearly not designed with Xerian height or human sprawl in mind. They both stood staring at it that first night. There must be a mistake, Ira said coolly. This is impractical. Jalen crossed his arms. You think I'm thrilled about it? A small beep came from the wall console. They turned to see a blinking message from command. Due to space limitations, adjustments to your living quarters are not possible. Please observe diplomatic courtesy and mutual boundaries. Remember one bed. One rule. Do not sleep close. Do not fall in love. Ira's jaw clenched. Jalen chuckled. Guess we're bunkmates, he said. They agreed to sleep back to back, separated by a fortress of pillows and a clear emotional demilitarized zone. Part 2, the thaw. Days passed. Then weeks. They rarely spoke at first, communicating mostly through the terminal or monosyllables. Ira spent her time analyzing stardust samples or meditating in zero-grav mode. Jalen worked out, watched old Earth films, and pretended not to be curious about her. But things started to shift. One morning, Jalen woke to find Ira on the roof of the outpost, watching the sunrise over a gas giant. Her skin reflected the golden hues, and for a moment, she looked almost sculpted from light. Couldn't sleep either, he asked. She didn't look at him. Your species' atmosphere has too much oxygen. It gives me headaches. He offered her a thermal flask. Coffee helps. She took it. Hesitated. Disgusting, she muttered. He smiled. You'll learn to love it. Over time, barriers started to crack. Ira showed him how Xerians communicate through frequency pulses. Vibrations in the air that carried emotion more than meaning. Jalen taught her how to play poker, which she picked up suspiciously fast. They debated ethics, laughed at absurd Earth memes, and shared stories about growing up on opposite sides of the galaxy. One night, during a meteor storm, the outpost's artificial gravity generator glitched. They floated for hours, tethered by safety harnesses in the sleeping chamber. Ira, suspended inches from him, looked into his eyes. Humans fear silence, she said softly. Jalen raised an eyebrow. And Xerians fear noise. We fear connection. It complicates duty. There was no laughter that night, just shared stillness. and something else unspoken. Part 3, The Breach. On day 58, the incident happened. A rogue mining vessel veered into the restricted zone near the outpost. Its pilot, a smuggler high on synthanol, mistook the station for an abandoned depot and tried to dock without clearance. The collision shook the outpost hard, knocking out power, communications, and environmental controls. Jalen was trapped under a support beam in the storage bay. He lost a lot of blood. Ira found him unconscious, pinned and barely breathing. Her hands shook as she pulled the beam off him. She dragged him to the infirmary, stabilized his vitals, and activated emergency treatment protocols. She stayed by his side for hours, refusing to rest. When he awoke, groggy and pale, she was holding his hand. "You should have let me die," he joked weakly. Ira didn't laugh. "Do not say that." Their eyes locked. That night, as he recovered in bed, she lay beside him, not out of necessity but choice. "No pillows. No rules. You're warm," she whispered. "And you're not as cold as you pretend." Neither slept that night. Part 4, The Rule. By day 70 it was clear something had changed. They still pretended nothing had. Still ate meals apart sometimes. Still used sarcasm as shields. But there were more glances, more lingering touches, more dreams shared in the stillness before sleep. And one night it happened. It kissed. It was clumsy at first. His breath too fast, her rhythm unfamiliar. But it deepened quickly, fiery and urgent. For a moment they forgot who they were. Just two souls in the void, desperate for meaning. When they pulled apart, reality returned like gravity. Era stood. "This cannot continue." "Why not?" She gestured at the terminal. At the rule etched into their assignment. "Do not sleep close. Do not fall in love." "They knew," she said, her voice trembling. "They knew this would happen." Jalen ran a hand through his hair. "And what if it did? What if we said screw the rule?" He turned away. "Then everything we worked for, diplomacy, peace, it becomes compromised. I become compromised." "But isn't this real?" he pleaded. She looked at him with eyes full of ancient sadness. "That's the problem." Part 5, The Choice. With only 10 days left, the outpost fell silent again, this time emotionally. They went about their tasks like strangers. No more games. No more coffee on the roof. At night they lay apart, backs turned. Jalen counted the stars through the window. Ira meditated until dawn, both aching. On the final night, the console blinked, a message from command confirming the pickup time. They sat at the table, sipping coffee. Neither spoke. Finally, Jalen said, "Will I ever see you again?" Ira stared at her cup. "Our paths were never meant to intersect. We are lines that crossed only for a moment." "I don't buy that." She looked up. "You never do." He stood heart-pounding, walked to her, held out his hand. "Come with me. Back to Earth. We'll figure it out." She shook her head. "I am Zirian. Have duty. Protocol." "You're also Ira," he said. "And I love her." Silence. She reached for his hand, held it, then let go. Part 6, The Echo. The shuttle arrived at dawn. They stood on opposite sides of the airlock. Jalen didn't say goodbye. He just looked at her, memorizing every detail. Ira pressed a small object into his hand. A Zirian resonance crystal. "For dreams," she whispered. The door sealed between them. She returned to her people. He returned to his planet. But at night, he held the crystal, feeling its faint pulse, an echo of a bond that defied gravity, rules, and galaxies. And sometimes, in the silence before sleep, he could feel her too. Not close, but not far.